Hello and welcome to the DevForge Network. In this video, I'm going to show you a better Windows command prompt called ConEmu. And ConEmu is really awesome, and I'm going to show you all the things that it can do. It's got some pretty cool stuff, so let's get into it. So we'll just go ConEmu and Google, just like we would Google for anything else. Open that tab. You'll see a page like this. You just click download. The mirror that I usually choose is just GitHub. Super easy. If you want, you can download the source code and go through it. Like if you found something that you really just didn't like and wanted to change. The code's not terrible. The comments are all written in Russian. There's some dead code laying around, but for the most part, it's pretty good, especially if you're looking for an example of a pure Windows app that handles all of the operating system messages and has hooks into all of them. It's pretty good. But for this video, just go ahead and download the installer. Run it. If you're on a 64-bit architecture, just do that. Otherwise, x86 is fine. All right. So now we're going to open it and pull it up. And you're going to get a page that looks like this. So it's the first time we've run it. This might look a little scary, but don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. I'm going to pick Ubuntu here, just because I know what it looks like. But you can change this after this page. Set it to single instance mode. If you ever played Quake, it's got like a console that sticks to the top and it slides down, so you can set it to do that, and that's pretty cool. Yep, keep all those checked. You can stick with the developer build or go to stable. I'll click stable, and I like updates, so that's fine. Cool, so let's click OK, and you'll see something like this, right? Doesn't that look awesome? Looks a lot better than this. Yeah? So let's figure out how to kind of tweak things around and set up our other shells. So if you click create window, you'll get a list of default shells that come with it. You see there's git bash. There's a test you can run to show all of the colors. That's pretty cool. Comes with a couple SDK shells with Windows 7.1 is there, so that's pretty cool. But what it doesn't have is the Visual Studio command prompt, so we'll talk about setting those up in a second. I wanted to go over a couple of cool features. First, you can expand this all the way out. With the command prompt, you can't. That's as much as you get. Also, the buffer for a regular command prompt is very small. This buffer is massive, so you can get lots and lots of scrolling text and not lose your history. So another cool feature is if I drag my mouse like this and everything gets highlighted, all of that is now in my clipboard. If I hit Control V, it's all pasted. Control V does not work in a regular command prompt. It doesn't even work in Console 2, which up until a while ago I loved Console 2. And this just blows Console 2 out of the water. So let's figure out how to add our Visual Studio command prompts in here. I went ahead and prepared a simple text document that has all of the paths and icons. If you want to give it an icon, you can set that to whatever .ico you want. Startup directories, typical startup directories for Visual Studio 2013 console, 2012 console, 2010, my git bash, and Windows 7.1. And the reason I included both of these is depending on whether or not you had those installed at the time you installed ConEmu, they may or may not show up in this list. In a later video series, I explain how to install git bash, and I will go through exactly how git works and explain everything, since it's pretty much the best version control out there, and lots of companies are using it. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this up. So you're going to go to the settings, which is here, and you click settings, and you can see there are tons and tons of things here. You can set up pretty much everything you could want to do is customizable in some way, and if it's not, you can always add it in the source code. So I definitely encourage you to look through here. There's some really cool stuff. I'm not going to go through everything because there's so much. Maybe if I find some feature I can't live without or setting I can't live without, I'll go over that in a later video. But for now, just go to Startup Tasks, and you can see all of these shells that are already set up for you. And you can see it's got like a C++ scheme going here, where shells is the group scope and CMD is the shell. So we're going to add by clicking this little plus button here. And you see group 12 was just added. Let's call this VS console. Yes. And we will do that. And maybe let's start with 2010. Let's do that. Cool. So you can see here there's a command. There's little prompts that tell you what's going on. You can see the command here. So we're going to go ahead and go to our thing that's already done for us and just copy this and paste it straight into there. And we want to give it a startup directory. So we'll go ahead and you can set it to, wherever you want. And you can see it appends this new console repo clone here. We're going to try to do this. Yeah. That's fine. Notice these quotes here. These quotes right there. So if you have spaces in your path, you're going to need to wrap this whole command in quotes. Otherwise, you will get a nice little error telling you that it cannot open. So remember that. So let's go ahead and save settings. Go here. You can see it added VS Console, and VS 2010 is right there. And when we open it, here it is. For Visual Studio 2010, you can tell that it's working because it tells you right here. Further, I can type CL, and it will tell me the compiler version and all that cool stuff. If I try to do this in just a regular shell, CL is not recognized as an internal or external command. I'm going to skip ahead and do this for the rest of them. Okay, so we got that set up. Now, as I was setting these up, I realized that I left out renaming the tabs and also setting an icon. So I've made a bit of modifications, and you can see that the Visual Studio 2010, all of these are quite a bit longer than they were. And I understand that this is a lot to type. I'm not going to explain what all of this /v/k is. If you really want to learn about that stuff, you just go to this website here. It's technet.microsoft.com. You can learn about all of the different parameters as far as console goes. So as far as the least error prone way to type this, because if you get it wrong, it will let you know. The least error prone way to do it, I literally just copied this from Windows SDK into here and just did string replacements. So I'll go through a little bit of what this means. So we create a new console. This D here is the startup directory. So we're going to start up in this directory, right? So this T here is the tab name. And we call it VS 2010. This C looks like it's the path to the icon, which is this right here. Remember, if your path has spaces, you must put the quotes around it. And then this is the shell right here. You just put a space in between, and there's the shell. And you do that for all three of these. So hopefully that should be simple enough. If you don't have Windows, the WinSDK 7.1, install it. It's very important for lots of things. You should have it. So verifying that all of these work, you will click Save Settings, and just as we did before, I'll go ahead and close all of these. Click there, go to Visual Studio 2010, you can see that pop up, 2012, 2013, and just type CL. And you see this is the right compiler version. This is the correct compiler version, 17, and this should be 18. Yeah. And you're good to go. So this video is already getting pretty long. It's probably a good idea to just end it here. If you guys have any questions or any features of ConEmu that you need help figuring out, I'm more than happy to make another video specifically for any of those features. As always, you can leave any feedback you have in the comments. That's all for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.